This is Hannah.
This is Matt Hanna.
And this is Horror Hour with the Hannas.
Where we talk about all your favorite scary sitcoms.
Ooh, in the wise words of Bodies.
No, not this again.
Today's episode is a podcast about hanging out with your smartest and funniest friend. So today's episode features my best friend and maid of honor, Jackie.
Hey.
She just went mute.
I went mute.
We're on a podcast, question mark?
I have to speak? What?
Yeah, what a concept.
Did your mom just call you?
Yeah, my mom is
perfect.
actively
Put her, just keep her on.
Yeah, let me put her on speaker.
Right.
What's your favorite horror
Ask
movie,
her.
Deborah? No, I'm not
You're not going to answer.
No.
Just put it up against the mic.
Podcasting.
All right.
Call
I'm
you
leaving
back
all of this in.
later, Mom.
Also, you peaked the mic already.
How did you
And
do that?
I can't
Laughing?
believe it. Yeah.
Oops.
So I lowered it. It's all right. Everyone can... We're there.
This feels
It's fine.
festive because today we're not covering something scary. We're talking about sitcom episodes centered around Halloween.
And when is this releasing? Around Halloween?
Duh.
Whoa, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Ooh, happy Halloween.
It's spooky season,
I bought
y'all.
a pumpkin beer today, and it was trash.
As most of them are. Thank you for sharing, honey. So, Jackie,
Yes.
what is your experience with scary movies? Do you like them? Do you have a favorite?
I like spooky movies. I can't handle scary movies. I don't do gore.
So Saw is not in your wheelhouse.
Not,
Sometimes I
no.
have to say the first Saw's not even gory.
The first Saw would be in your wheelhouse.
first Saw's
The rest
awesome.
are... Ugh, I can't watch.
The
I
rest
can't
are
watch.
gross.
And I've seen them all. I just,
Yeah.
don't look at half the movie.
I've
Saw-
been told
Saw
that first
10?
Saw is like psychological good, not
Mhm.
gory, scary good.
We're going to see Saw 10 in theaters.
We have seen none of them in theaters.
Good
Why
point.
start now?
No, good point.
And so I know horror, gory, not necessarily your thing, but do you have a favorite that you've seen?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but we were discussing earlier, and Hereditary is a top watch of mine.
I think that's so funny too, because that one grosses me out more than anything ever. So it's funny that you're like, I don't like the gross stuff, but I like this.
That movie makes me feel bad, and I like it.
Yeah, it makes me feel
It's
nauseated.
uncomfy.
We
Yeah,
said before we saw it in theaters, and great decision.
horrifying. Horrifying decision. Well, since we're talking about sitcoms today, which seems like it's going to be more up your alley, do you have a favorite sitcom?
The Office, hands down, classic.
I am in that camp. I love The Office, but I also love Always Sunny. I really like Arrested Development, Community. I like all of them,
You guys
honestly, like New Girl.
Basic.
Like
Picking
What's
The
yours,
Office.
Matt? What's yours?
That's a good question.
Matt doesn't really like sitcoms that
No.
much.
Malcolm in the Middle is probably
Oh,
one of my
yeah.
favorite
Okay,
all-time
okay.
sitcoms.
We are...
Always,
went
it's always
kinda-
sunny. I never watch a ton of Seinfeld, but every time I watch an episode, it makes me laugh. So, but I do think Malcolm in the
You're a
Middle.
retro sitcom boy.
Malcolm in the
Other
Middle is
than
hardly
Sunny,
other than
retro. I mean, I guess it is. I
no,
grew up
Malcolm
watching
is
that.
kind of
I
retro
would come
at this
home
point.
every day after school, middle school, and watch it on FX because it would be on. And the Bernie Mac show was on. I didn't like that one as much,
No,
but I
why
do like
would
Bernie
you?
Mac. So,
Okay.
but Malcolm, yeah, that's how I watched a bunch of this. We done. I don't even. They might have a Halloween episode. I don't know.
They
I don't
have
remember.
to have a Halloween episode.
I honestly don't remember.
Arrested Development doesn't have anything like seasonal, which makes me kind of sad because that's one of my top. But here we are. We're not covering Malcolm. We're not covering Arrested, but we are covering Jackie and my favorites. We're going to start with Always Sunny, though. So we are doing the episode titled The Maureen Ponderosa Wedding Massacre, Season 8, Episode 3. For those unfamiliar, the basic premise of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it basically follows the gang who's owners of an unsuccessful bar called Patty's Pub in Philadelphia. And they're all degenerates who scheme, conspire, and revel in each
They're all
other's
really
misery.
bad people.
They're all
That's
horrible
great.
people. It's hilarious, and it gets more and more unhinged as the seasons go. Like, the characters are unrecognizable at this point compared to how they were season
And it's still
1.
good.
It's hilarious. Longest running show.
Is it
Sitcom.
now? I know it was the longest running
Sitcom it is.
sitcom.
Yeah.
No, I meant like they had purchased enough seasons for it to become, but it is now. Correct?
It is now.
Okay, it is now.
Yeah. And I think they just got approved for 2 more seasons. So it's
Insane.
going
Wow.
at
Good for
them.
least to
And
18,
I
maybe
will be
19.
seated.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Hot take. I'm not a huge It's Always Sunny fan.
You can leave.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
I think it's funny, but it's not like my top sitcom.
I think it is so funny. I think that it's really smart too. And I think the criticisms that it makes, I don't know, I really appreciate them. And then hearing on their podcast them talk about the origins of the episodes makes me, I think, appreciate it more, even, if that were possible.
I think I could do an entire episode talking about why Sunny's really good, so I'm not going to do that, but it is very good. Maybe off the pod, Jackie, we had a conversation.
Yeah, but, I'm going to get beat up.
You're going to attend a lecture. It's going to be a 3-hour-long lecture. Matt's not even going to notice he's talking that long, because that's what he does.
Yeah, there's a lot I could say about it.
Well, Matt, why don't you let's do our 15-second summaries. Okay. And then we're going to have you give us the plot of this episode. Jackie, I know you've listened to the pod, so you know the concept.
Yes.
So we're going to have you start first as our guest.
Yike. Okay, wait, am I summarizing the episode?
Just the episode.
As much as
just
you can.
The episode.
Yeah, the episode in 15 seconds.
In 15. Okay.
All right.
We should shorten it, actually, because it's a 20-minute episode versus a 90-minute movie. Give her 10 seconds.
Let's give her 15,
all right,
and then for her next one, we'll give her 10. And then maybe we'll go down to 5. Okay, ready? Go.
Okay. Wedding, milk, zombies, sex, done.
There we go. She didn't need it.
4 seconds. Almost 5, but 4. Okay. Matt, you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Dennis unsuccessfully gets his alimony payments removed. That's all I got.
Okay. Great.
All right, you're up?
Yeah.
Ready, go.
Panic. Okay.
That is how it starts. You're at 6 seconds.
Nope, I can't do it.
All right.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I thought I was going to panic.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right.
I do that too. We've had those, like, just certain episodes where, like, I don't know how to describe this. I guess.
Do you want me to do the real recap, or you want to reset?
No, reset.
All right, ready? Go.
A gang goes to wedding. Milk is drugged by drugs, and the people are like zombies, and it's not good.
All right. I don't know if that was comprehensible, but
it wasn't.
Drugs by drugs.
It is drugged by drugs.
Okay.
More specifically, Beth.
So I have my written up plot description here that I wrote as I was watching it. So we're gonna see how that one goes.
It's gonna be equally as unhinged as what I just said.
Yes, I'm gonna do my best to see. This is what's in my phone notes app.
All right.
So the episode opens up with a bunch of spooky credits, not our normal It's Always Sunny credits, which is great. The gang has been arrested following Dennis's ex-wife's wedding, which was on Friday the 13th. Clearly, chaos has ensued, and in the interrogation room of the police department, the gang is recapping the night. It should be noted that Dee is not present. Dennis is crashing the wedding to make sure Maureen, his ex-wife, goes through with the wedding so he can stop paying alimony. The rest of the gang also decide to crash for various reasons. Reoccurring rival of the game, Liam McPoyle, is the groom to Maureen. Frank and Dee are there to break up the wedding, so Dennis has to continue to pay alimony because they think it's funny, and because Liam's brother Ryan wants the wedding to be stopped because the McPoyle bloodline, in his words, must remain clean and pure, and because he's in love with his brother, probably.
Probably.
Dennis tries to speak with Maureen to make sure she goes through with the wedding and get her to sign some legal documents to relieve him of his alimony payments, but he discovers Maureen has had breast enhancement surgery. He is then kicked out of the room by bridesmaids. Wedding guests begin acting erratically. We have Dee and Frank try to reunite Ryan and Liam. Ryan and Liam make up and decide that Liam should go through with the wedding because they should be tainting the blood of other families instead of keeping their blood pure. Charlie and Mac wreck Dee's car and blame zombies. Dee attacks them because they wrecked their car, and they lock Dee in a freezer and assume she's a zombie or has bat rabies.
Bat rabies.
The wedding guests start to fight each other, and someone bites Liam face, causing him to lose an eye. Dee is introduced to the interview back in the police interview, where she reveals that Maureen's brother, Bill Ponderosa, had spiked the wedding milk with bath salts, explaining the zombie behavior of the guests. It is also revealed that Dennis tried again to get Maureen to sign the legal documents, but instead was distracted by her new breasts and has sex with her. Maureen professes her love for Dennis, and he immediately regrets his decision. She refuses to sign the paperwork and basically says that she will find him wherever he goes. We cut back to them being in the interrogation room where they say, Dennis, you're free to go. And someone had paid his bail, who turns out to be Maureen. or Maureen, I can't say her name.
Maureen.
Maureen. Yeah. And he starts begging the police to help him and screaming, "What have I done?" The camera pans into his mouth, cuts to black, and the episode ends.
That was not your best summary reading.
What? That was such a good one.
I don't know. I think you could do better.
What do you need? Faster or?
Just the stuttering. It was like a me reading. It was like me when I'm
I'm
in
sorry.
class.
I didn't spell alimony correctly once in these notes.
Oh.
Alimony.
I have no idea
All
to spell
the money.
it. I have no idea to spell it.
He kind of read that. You know when you're like have an anxiety disorder and you're in like 6th grade class and the teacher's just
speaking.
calling on people to read and you're like not prepared.
When they're snowballing and you're trying to read to the page to figure out
you're
what
trying to figure
paragraph
out-
you're doing.
And you're also trying to like read ahead so you know what's coming, so you know how to say it out loud because you've said it in your head. That was Matt reading. Oh shit. Keep making all this noise in the background. Sorry.
It's fine. I really didn't think it was that bad. I thought what I wrote was good.
The summary
was
itself
funny.
was on point, yes.
Her breasts.
Can we talk about how we actually describe them in the show?
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah, that's my favorite line in this whole episode is he goes, "Why, Maureen, you've enhanced yourself." And she says, "Yeah, I got my tooth fixed." And he goes, "I'm talking about your tits, your big giant new titties." And holy shit, it is the funniest line delivery. Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis, is so underrated. He needs to be in more things, especially being as unhinged as Dennis, because that shit gets me every time.
Get them all on Broadway. That's what I'm saying. Charlie's good enough to be on Broadway.
I don't know.
The musical on Broadway.
For real.
They should do a brief Damon musical. Love it. For this particular episode, what did y'all like? Or didn't like? Thoughts, feelings, emotions?
I think it's a really funny way to do a Halloween episode. I'm guessing this was also during the bath salts craze where that dude ate that guy's face. So just like such a funny topical, well, I guess that's not funny, but very topical thing to talk about and like make a zombie episode about. I think it kind of plays into some of the old zombie tropes where they're all really slow and kind of dumb and the characters are able to just mostly walk around them, which I also enjoy a lot. And I guess the real horror being Dennis's alimony is something that really just really gets me.
I also like the way this episode is filmed because there's a lot of like found footage shakiness and there's like flashing lights. So and really choppy cuts.
The whole
so I
thing
think
is
it's
in like
really fun.
a gray filter too to look like.
So I think like visually this episode is very different than your average episode of It's Always Sunny, which I think makes it really fun.
They deliberately latched onto that horror concept.
I think it makes it a standout Halloween episode.
This show does not stray from its visual style often. I can really only think of this time and when they went to Ireland, but that still was the same style. It was just the only time the intro changed.
When they do the janitor only mops twice.
Okay, nope, that's a good one. That season had a couple.
But it's very rare that they take at least early on. This is the only one before season maybe like 12 where they take risks like that. I mean, their plots are always a risk. Let's be real. It's a miracle they get any of these scripts approved. So,
Jackie, what did you like? I know you're not an It's Always Sunny fan, so...
Okay, I didn't say I'm not a fan. I said I'm just not obsessed like most people. I liked the zombie concept. I liked that they kind of made like a not realistic episode, let's be honest, but like face eating people on bath salts. But also liked that Frank, true to himself, was the antagonist. Like, he antagonized this whole thing.
I know.
Like, literally.
He really did cause everything.
He caused everything because he went to call the wedding off for, like, to mess with Dennis. And then on top of that is the reason why the milk was spiked.
Yeah. Because he was the sponsor of Bill and told Bill, of course you can do drugs because Bill was in AA.
Bill comes over to him and is like, "I'm not having a good day, Frank. Like, I want to use." And Frank says, "Why are you telling me this?" And Bill goes, "You're my sponsor." And then later Bill's like, "I really want to do drugs." And Frank says, "You earned it."
Yeah. They do.
So everybody.
This episode's funny. It's I'll say anytime the McPoyles show up, you know you're going to be in for a good time.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're perfect to use for like a horror episode because they're disgusting.
Yes.
And I feel like I just like that they use this horror style as best they can and use some tropes while also like still committing to the It's Always Sunny vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And like every character is still doing the same shit that they would normally do. It makes total sense that Dee and Frank would be trying to make sure that Dennis has to keep paying alimony. Meanwhile, he's the one that messes up.
And it makes total sense that it would be Charlie and Mac who are thinking everyone's a zombie and trying to escape and steal a car. Yeah, or
because Charlie from the beginning was like, "This is creepy as fuck. I'm out."
Yeah. I also the same, so it's random, but there's something that makes me absolutely weak in every episode, or in It's Always Sunny, and it's anytime Charlie and Mac crash a car. Every time, I know at least 2 times it happens, I'm sure it's more, but they love to do these like actual takes of a car just going about 100 feet, if that, straight into an object.
Yeah.
And it makes me like fall to my knees. Like, it's so funny every time. Like thinking about it makes me laugh. That one where they try to fake their own deaths, and Mac is like, "I'm gonna run into this wall and jump out of the car,"
and Charlie's like, "No, I'm not."
And then he just drives into the wall and doesn't actually jump out. Just every time it gets me.
Well, Charlie and Mac are such a duo because they're both so dumb. Like they're definitely the dumbest by far.
Yeah.
So putting them together is always going to make for an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Anything you didn't like about the episode?
No. There's really not. I have more things that I really liked.
Oh, tell me. What about the timeline? I was like, we got to get to the next one soon.
I have nothing bad to say about this.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything bad to say about this?
No, it's great.
Okay, yeah, so we can keep talking about what we liked for just another sec. I really like how Dennis admitting that he slept with Maureen is like he's admitting to murder. Like the
so ominous about it.
Yeah, he's extremely ominous. He keeps saying like, "I did a bad thing," and the lawyer or the investigator, cop, whatever, is like, "You can tell me. Like, I have to know what you did.
I'll put in a good word for you.
I'll put in a good word for you."
It's like the making a murderer cop lying to you to try to get you to confess to something.
Yeah, and then Dennis is like, "Yeah, we banged." I also like Charlie doing the Jaws monologue because again, he's kind of like taking from another classic.
I call it horror creature feature.
Yeah,
I love Jaws.
And the delivery is so funny, and then they all call him out on it.
They steal the visual style of that too. The camera like zooms in.
They let it go on for so long though.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny is just so.
But I think because they commit to the bit for so long, it makes it funnier.
Yes.
Especially because he's like talking about the eyes of the shark. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Charlie? And the voice.
Yeah.
I also just think, to your point about how the McCoyles are so funny, Jimmy Simpson, who you might know from Westworld, if you're not a Sunny fan, so like a real legitimate HBO project.
Yeah.
He is so fucking funny. Every episode
he plays Liam.
Yeah, he's Liam. He's the groom that gets his eye removed. Every episode that man is in is so funny because he just like goes big with everything that he does. Like his delivery of every line is so obnoxious. It's very similar to Laszlo and What We Do with the Shadows, where he puts emphasis on weird words or sounds. Mm-hmm. He kind of does the same thing. So if you watch any scene with him, you're just going to be like, what the fuck is this man doing? And I love that.
Get him more work. For this show. He's really funny and talented. I don't know why he's not in more stuff.
Well, he's in Sunny because this is like some behind the scenes stuff, but it's because they were friends. Like, that is why he has the part. That's also why Cricket has a part, because they were friends. No, so like some of them were roommates.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. I think a couple of them like lived together.
Nice.
At one point or another.
Well, good for him.
As did some of the gang. But
yeah. Was this Jimmy Simpson's first big thing to be on Sunny?
It's the first thing I ever saw him in, and then Westworld. And that's kind of it.
How do you book Westworld? That's crazy.
Imagine sending in this reel for Westworld.
That's his resume. It's Always Sunny.
It's just him screaming. It's Always Sunny. One-eyed.
So what else do we have to talk about in this episode, or is it time for number 2?
Favorite scenes.
Favorite scenes for me, I'll just go, is Dennis just yelling, like, please help me, what have I done, what have I done, as Maureen is waiting for him after she bailed him out. I think Glenn's delivery just really gets me, and that to be like another horror element where he has just no like recourse to protect himself here, and the police are just handing him over, is just like, I think just a really genius setup and payoff.
Mm-hmm. Jackie, do you have a favorite scene?
Randomly, probably the one where like you get your first view of the bath salts people. where the one chick comes out as a contortionist, and it's Dee and Frank like doesn't think anything of it. He's just like going on with his life,
and Frank.
Dee's like, the fuck.
Yeah, Dee's like, I'm out.
Yeah. And you, Hannah?
My favorite scene. So like we've very much established that Ryan and Liam might be their siblings, but they also might be romantically linked.
Ooh,
and so when they go into the room where Ryan is apologizing to Liam and he's on his knees, but it looks like he's giving him a blowjay.
Yep.
That's my favorite. And then he just like turns and he is just crying, but like the posture, the framing, it's so funny, and it really works with these characters because you buy it either way.
Mm-hmm.
So not a horror element.
Every time they come back, they're
so
funny.
good.
There's another. They do a Die Hard episode like parody with them.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many parody episodes Sunny has done too.
A good number.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can move on to our next episode.
Cool. Let's do it. Which one?
The Office episode Halloween, Season 2, Episode 5. The Office is an American mockumentary sitcom that depicts the everyday work lives of office employees at the Scranton, Pennsylvania branch of the fictional Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, led by regional manager Michael Scott.
I hope everyone knows what The Office is.
I know. If you don't, you've been living under a rock for decades at this point.
I feel like you're at least forced to watch an episode.
Yeah.
Like
I can't imagine getting to this point in life and having not. But, maybe some people have.
Are we doing 15 seconds?
Yeah, you go first.
I didn't hide or scream.
I didn't hide or scream.
Actually, I did cringe. There's a couple moments in
this episode. Well, because it's early The Office, and I think the earlier seasons are cringier.
I do like it. It's what it's going for. It's succeeding, but man, is it hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So, we said we were gonna cut down to 10 seconds.
Yep, coming down to 10.
Yeah. So ready? Go.
Michael struggles to fire someone on Halloween and then finally does it at the middle of the Halloween party.
Perfect.
Easy enough.
All right, Jack, you ready?
There's so many plot points, though, other than that. Fuck. Okay.
Go for it.
Not ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Michael has to fire somebody. Pam and Jim try to get Dwight recruited somewhere else. Michael takes forever to fire somebody. Finally does. I only covered one other plot point.
I don't think that I can really
You don't have a joke?
to that.
I set you up. You got a joke ready.
I don't have.
Nothing. All right, you failed on this one then too.
What? That I don't have a joke?
No. I just meant since you messed up the first one.
All right, bitch.
Are you ready? Can you do it?
Michael decides to fire Devin. Nope, that's wrong. He decides to fire Creed. Creed convinces him to fire Devin. He fires Devin. Devin's mad. Everyone's mad. Bye.
There you go.
Panicked again. I don't know why. For the movies, I either have a pre-written funny joke, well, funny to me, or an actual plot summary. And I wrote the plot summary for this. I think that's why I panicked, because I wrote off the full summary. The last one was just
that's all right.
bad.
All right, give us the full summary.
Downsizing leads corporate headquarters to order Michael to fire somebody by the end of October. Michael procrastinates, of course, until Halloween, when he's still not decided who to fire. Michael discusses his options for firing with Pam and Dwight and practices the firing itself with Jim. When he decides to fire quality assurance representative Creed Bratton, Creed manages to convince Michael to fire supplier relations representative Devin instead. Ultimately, the Halloween party does not occur as the mood in the office drops. The B-plot of this episode includes Jim and Pam submitting resumes on behalf of Dwight. Dwight immediately ruins his chances by having a rather stern argument with the caller over the importance and relevance of martial arts on his resume. After watching Dwight tank his call, Pam suggests that Jim should apply for the job, which upsets Jim, as he feels that she doesn't want him there. Later, as Jim is leaving to go home, Pam apologizes for pushing him into taking the other job and reassures him that she would, quote, blow her brains out if he ever left. In a talking head, Jim brushes off the remarks, stating that if Pam were the one leaving, he wouldn't blow his brains out, but he would take the other job.
All right.
I love this episode.
I'll say right away, I think it's very funny to take your Halloween episode and really just set Michael needing to fire somebody in the middle of it. Because it's a Halloween episode because it takes place on Halloween, but nothing about it is actually spooky.
No.
But I think the horror of awkwardly trying to fire somebody is enough.
Especially awkwardly trying to fire someone while you're in costume and everyone else is in costume.
And when there's supposed to be a party. And
getting fired is terrifying.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. It's like actual real life horror in this one.
But I will say, I think it's maybe a little disappointing for a Halloween episode not to jump into any, visual things other than they do a couple things with Dwight where they try to replicate some shots from Star Wars.
Yeah, but I also think if you're watching The Office, you're not expecting it versus like Sunny is weird, so they can kind of pull it off. And Community has been whack from day one, so they could have
done the Scranton Strangler episode. They didn't have that theory
That
yet.
wasn't introduced yet, so that is why.
Yeah, I understand. I just think I love the vibes of like Halloween episodes because you actually get Halloween vibes.
The whole point of The Office is that the very premise of it being people at work is rooted in reality.
Sure. I'm just saying, this is just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. I do listen, or I used to listen to the Office Ladies podcast until I got burnt out. And obviously they've covered this since this was season 2. And part of the background on filming and like the development of this episode was that they thought the concept of having this very serious conversation in costume would be funny. And Greg Daniels, the showrunner creator, had wanted to do an episode where someone is fired, but from the point of view of someone doing the firing.
Yeah, and I like all that.
Which I think is really interesting because it's also horrific from that end.
Yeah.
Which, like, you wouldn't necessarily think of if you're the one being fired. Another background piece of info was because Greg Daniels could not fire a series regular due to their contracts, he had narrowed it down to Creed or Devin because at the time they were both background characters and did not have a regular series.
So he needed to fire somebody in real life?
Well, he wanted to fire someone who had been, like, previously seen on the show, I guess.
Okay.
And he was between the two of them, and they did not know which one was getting fired. Because
like the actors themselves?
Yeah, they did not know yet. And the guy who played Devin got an upcoming theater contract.
Okay, good for him.
That conflicted with potential filming.
Okay, so at least I don't feel bad.
Yeah, so that is why they picked Devin.
That is kind of shitty to be like, I want to fire somebody for my episode, but that also results in an actor actually getting fired from the show.
But that also results in Creed becoming a huge character.
Yeah, true.
And like, Creed is the crowd favorite. Man. I'm like, Creed is, this is his first big moment. He has not spoken up until this point.
He does kill that moment.
And he is fucking hilarious. I love that man. And the show without Creed wouldn't change all that much, but there are certain scenes that would be considerably less funny without Creed.
Yes.
I also thought it was funny. I was like reading about deleted scenes for this episode. And apparently one of the deleted scenes was that Toby asked Michael for the name of the employee that would be fired. And Michael tries to fire Toby.
That's actually brutal. They should have left that. That's really funny. I guess
they didn't have time for it. Okay. Like, you only have so many minutes.
Yeah, it's shocking that they didn't keep that, though, because of the Toby Michael dynamic. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Like, you would think Michael would be like, Toby, immediately.
I wonder if, like, it was too long of a scene and they just couldn't, like, scrap it.
This really is a Michael-centric episode, which I enjoy a lot, too. Like, it's really from his point of view for most of it. And just, like, the way his brain works is, like, what makes this show tick. And I just love, like, calling different people in to get their opinions on who he should fire. It's just, like, the most unethical work practice you could ever do, and I love it.
Dwight attempting to fire somebody on his behalf.
Yeah. I also think this episode does a really good job at, like, pointing out how problematic Halloween costumes can be. Or the assumptions we might make about people's Halloween costumes. So, Michael going up to Kelly and asking why she didn't dress as the soccer player in Bend It Like Beckham.
Yeah, this is one of the cringe moments that I was like, ooh, I can't watch this show.
There's another line that Dwight says, and I forget the context, but he says, I know about 1 billion Asians that would beg to differ.
It was about the guy saying that martial arts experience isn't important on his resume. Yeah.
So there's, like, a lot of these, like, a racial undertone.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But Jim's face in that scene definitely, like, they acknowledge that was a oof moment.
That The Office went there, and I know some people might be like, these could never get made today. But they're doing it because they're acknowledging it's a problem. They're not, putting it in there like this is a good thing.
No, you're supposed to think that
Dwight's an idiot and Michael is a problem. Michael later talks about how he dressed up as Janet Jackson's boob and OJ and Monica Lewinsky. Like, you're supposed to be like, wow, sexism or racism. Like, you're not supposed to agree with these
I get
decisions.
some themes for The Office I just thought of. It's definitely about how in corporate America that as long as you make money, because Michael's branch is really good at bringing in money, you can do whatever you want. They don't care. Michael can be sexist, homophobic.
Well, that's the idea.
Racist,
He's
right?
your sexist, homophobic, white male boss.
Yeah,
Like,
but as long as he brings in money.
And that's what's interesting with, like, the theming that he later becomes endearing.
yeah.
It's like, how's that work with the theming?
No, it is funny, though. He is very funny. And, like, I'm not a huge fan of The Office. Sorry, everyone. But, like, this episode made me laugh a lot.
All right, Matt's going to get a lecture from me.
It just never did it
Yeah.
for me that much. That's fine. I know I'm in the minority on that. But
Yeah, you guys can go at it once the episode ends. You can beat each other up for why you're wrong, and I'll just hang out.
I also, I really liked the shots where, because Dwight was the Emperor from Star Wars, they were like doing the close-ups of like his mouth and his face obscured by while telling Michael who to fire and like trying to like force mind trick him.
Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
Random moment when he picks up his plastic lightsaber and was like, this is $200.
Yeah.
And I was like, the Walmart lightsaber?
I know.
That's how much they cost. They're expensive.
I have a custom one that was like $200, and it's way nicer than that, though.
Okay. You got a custom one?
Fuck you, Dwight. Yeah, you are a nerd. I really like the moment at the end where Michael is greeting the trick-or-treaters, and I know when we were watching, Matt was like, that's interesting to end it with that.
Oh, it's to make him come off as this sweet guy. Like, it's not...
Yeah,
he's only
humanizes
cringe.
him.
He's only cringe because he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but also he doesn't want the perception of him to be negative. I don't know if he cares more about people's feelings or his own perception. I'm sure somebody's written an essay on the psychology of Michael Scott at some point.
There's a lot to say.
Yeah.
But I do like that. Yeah, just kind of showing that, like, no, he is a nice guy.
It
Getting all
makes
excited.
me, like, tear up a little. Not that I actually, like, teared up, but, like, I have before. I've been like, holy shit,
It warms
that's so
your
sweet.
heart, you know?
I don't know. That show gets, I don't want to say dark, but anytime Michael goes home to his empty condo by himself, and you just, like, see this,
It's
like,
rough.
grown man,
Yeah.
like, single, alone there, it's, like, pretty sad.
Michael Scott, baby.
Yeah.
He's got layers.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, I guess it's different if you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that, like, wants a relationship,
He
wants
craves
kids,
it more than anything.
and craves love and, like,
Yeah.
affection, just goes home.
Well,
to-
that's why Michael had to end up with a partner at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Or
for sure.
It would have been...
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That was a weird noise I made. I'm sorry.
Other stuff we want to say about this one? Like I said, my only complaint is I wish it was more Halloween vibed. Their costumes are okay.
Hey, Matt, it was very Halloween vibes. Someone says, why did you put it off to Halloween? And Michael says, it's very scary stuff.
Yeah. I think because we watched Community, which is the next one, the Halloween vibes and costumes in that one are so good that it made me, like, a little more disappointed with the Office episode.
Yeah, but it's a show about community college. It lends itself to that.
It's also the vibe of that show is just entirely different. They're doing something totally different. It's definitely
I
giving
understand.
more
Just let me
Rick or Morty
complain about
than...
it.
Yeah.
All right, I still liked the
Dry.
episode.
Yeah. You're just a
I
whiner.
just wanted some spooky vibes, and I know that's not what they were going for.
You weren't spooked out by the 3 ladies dressed as cats?
That was
That was a
that was
lot.
crazy. That was
spooky.
definitely the era of that.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, in previous episodes, someone kept pitching that, like, Pam has a run-in with some cats or something stupid. And so they were like, no, we can't do this. So that's why they put her dressed as a cat. Also, Phyllis would be too lazy or, like, Phyllis-y to do a good costume.
Yeah.
And Angela loves cats.
It
So
had
here
to
we
happen.
are. And
All
they
right.
weren't played off like big moments anyway, so it didn't really matter exactly what they were
It was just the
wearing.
very first 3 ladies introduced in that episode were all cats.
All
and then you cut
cats.
to Kelly as Dorothy as the next one.
Yeah, who should have been a soccer player, like, and bended like
Oh my
that.
God. All right, do we have favorite scenes on this one, or is there more we gotta say?
Yeah, we can do favorite scenes.
I got one.
Go.
All right, my favorite scene is when Michael brings Jim into the
Yes.
office to
Yeah.
practice getting fired, and then just tells, when Jim fires Michael, he says he's going to kill himself and freaks out and says that he's going to show up and kill Jim. And then Jim takes actual phone calls pretending to be Michael. And there's just something about that being like, Creed, I got to take this, like telling Michael to leave the office. That just really tickles me.
That is
Added to
one of-
that, Michael just hangs up that phone call
Yeah,
at
right
the
after,
end.
yeah.
He doesn't even pick up the phone. He just hangs it up.
Yeah.
that is one of the 2 moments I wrote down as well.
Yeah, that's a top one for sure.
The other one I wrote was Michael and the trick-or-treaters, because it's the only moment in this episode that makes you feel things. That's a lie.
Him.
It does. The Jim and Pam makes you feel things, because at this point, you've been rooting for it for enough time.
Yeah. Jackie, you got one?
I think those are my two.
All right, I'll throw another one in.
I think I covered it.
I like when Michael's talking to his costume head about fire, the head's telling him to fire Dwight, and Dwight's getting really upset and being like, don't listen to him, when it's just this papier-mâché head.
I was going to say, I don't think we ever addressed that Michael's costume was just a papier-mâché head.
It was a second head, yeah. It had a second head. It's actually a great costume.
There's a funny scene at one point where he's talking and there's just the head sitting on a table in the background.
Every serious scene where he's trying to fire somebody, he takes the head off.
I wish you would have fired Devin while wearing the head.
I think Michael has enough sense not to do that, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also do like the part where he asked Pam who to fire, and when she didn't say anything, he starts rationalizing why he could fire her. She's like, I love your costume.
It's so good.
She knows the way to his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she knows Michael better than anyone in this office. All right. So, as we hinted at, our last show that we covered was Community, specifically the episode Epidemiology in Season 2, Episode 6. So, for those who haven't watched Community, it's basically when fast-talking lawyer Jeff Winger finds his degree has been revoked, he is forced to go back to school at Greendale Community College. There he accidentally ends up starting a study group, which becomes the focus of our show.
Before we do anything, recaps or anything, I want to say I think this is probably the best Halloween episode of a sitcom that I have seen. Go watch it. Then come back.
I might agree with that.
I don't know
know
if there is a better Halloween episode out there.
There's just so many elements of it, which obviously we'll discuss, that make it perfect.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
And I think if I were to introduce someone to Community, even though you don't get I actually think you get a pretty good introduction to most of the characters. You don't need anything.
No, I think that was one of the first episodes I watched of the show.
But you do get a good glimpse into who the characters are without having watched other episodes. It's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna go first so I can get this the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go. Community
college people get spoiled meat, turn into zombies, bite each other, and everyone gets bitten, but then they get their memories wiped, and it doesn't matter.
There you go. You messed something up, though.
I did. It's okay. All right, Matt, go.
The community college members, they end up eating some radioactive substance from the government, and then it gives them a zombie disease. They end up bringing the AC down to save all of them. Oh, I thought it was 15 seconds. We're going to 10?
We did 10 last time.
Dang.
Well,
we did 10 last time.
You shouldn't. All right.
Bitch.
Whatever.
All right, ready, Jackie?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Community college Halloween party, ABBA soundtrack, they turn into zombies, black man lives the longest. Boom.
Yeah. True.
I do like that specific detail.
No more clapping, Hannah. We spiked the mic.
Oh, no. It's fine. Doing such a bad job today.
No, it's fine.
All right, Matt, give us our full summary.
I didn't write this one down.
Well, I sent it to you because you
you sent it to me?
I also think.
All right.
Where'd you send it? Email?
I'll be doing it.
No, I'll do it. I got it right here. I'm ready.
You are not professional enough
I got
to be the host.
No, you
I'm
told
the
me
full
to.
host. You're just one of my
All right.
guest stars.
That is not true. All right.
Do it.
So, in the episode, the dean throws a Halloween-themed party on campus, complete with ABBA music. Troy and Abed get into a disagreement about the nerdiness of their costumes, and Abed changes. Oh, no. Troy changes,
sorry.
Hannah. Wow, I'm the unprofessional one. During the party, a few of the partygoers become sick from eating a hazardous substance that the dean mistook for taco meat bought at an army surplus store. Pierce is the first to become sick and bites another partygoer. The sickness causes those affected to turn into a violent zombie-like state that can be passed on through bites. As the study group try to escape, the dean, under orders of the U.S. Army Special Operations, locks the doors, trapping them inside with the infected. The study group, minus Pierce, run and lock themselves into the study room with a classmate, Rick, and teacher, Professor Chang. Rick... a doctor indicates that if the zombies continue to overheat, they will die of brain damage. Rick and Britta do not initially admit they were bitten until they experience symptoms. When Chang throws his ice skate, part of his costume, to use it as a weapon, he accidentally breaks the glass of the study room window, and Annie is taken. The rest of the group escape in two different groupings. Abed develops a plan to escape through a window, but Jeff doesn't want to ruin his suit and tries the door, which leads into the zombies and exposure. Abed and Troy get close to escaping, and Abed lets Troy go first so he can be the first black man to get out to the end.
Yes.
Troy changes back into his original costumes and re-enters the school to blast the air to prevent those trapped from getting brain damage. He gets bitten, but is successful. Then the government comes in and wipes all their memories.
Woo! Very community episode, and also a perfect episode.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It is a real zombie episode. And once again, zombies are nice and slow, walking around. They can actually beat the shit out of them. And the only time you really get messed up is if you get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Which I like. That is a good zombie trope.
I do like their attempts to use weapons because they're like out of school, so there's only certain options.
The soccer ball.
Yes. Yeah, so Jeff is throwing soccer balls at them. And Chang is trying to use his ice skate, which he accidentally throws through the window, which is so funny.
Which is the funny scene in the episode, in my opinion. I'll get to that, but...
We'll get to it now. Tell us.
All right, the funny scene in the episode, and it reminds me of The Nice Guys, if you've ever seen that. Highly recommend. If I can recommend any movie, it's not a horror movie, you watch The Nice Guys. But he goes to throw the skate, and he's like, I know how to kill them, hit them in the head. And misses, and it just breaks a window, and immediately all the zombies come pouring in by the broken window. And just grab Annie and yank her out. And just like, it propels the episode forward, which is funny. And then is also just such a stupid moment of like, let me help. And just like, something about that window shattering and just them pouring in really
it's a very Chang moment as well. It's very in character.
It reminds me of The Nice Guys, though. I said where the Russell Crowe is like to Ryan Gosling, like, throw me the gun. And he throws the gun and it just goes right over his head, right out the window towards the guy shooting at them.
Yeah.
So funny.
I think this episode does the best job, and I have the most fun with how the commentary they make on people's Halloween costumes.
These have amazing costumes. All the extras have great costumes. All the characters have great costumes.
But I think the commentary especially is the best because, so, Jeff has a costume that you can't identify. He's just trying to look hot.
So he just wears a $6,000 suit and carries a soccer ball around.
Britta is wearing a crazy costume that she can't move around in. So she makes other people hold things for her and feed her.
I love that she managed to get bit through that, though.
I know.
Like, how?
Yeah, she's a
It's a full-body dinosaur costume.
I know. And we have had people show up in that kind of shit to our Halloween party, which I love the commitment, but then once you go to do anything, you're fucked. And you also have the people you can't identify, like Shirley.
Yeah, as
where they're like trying to figure out who she is, and they keep thinking she's Miss Piggy, but she's Glinda the Good Witch.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And you were talking about her costume getting bit through it. This also has all the tropes of zombie movies where the people getting bit and ignoring being bit because they think they're special, as they say. And there's a moment where they do that great fake out where Rick is bit, right? And he's like, I thought I was special. And then Britta immediately is like, no, I'm the special one because I was bit 10 minutes ago, and then immediately turns.
Yeah.
It is just like the
really
tropes
dumb,
are so good. And the ABBA music is phenomenal. That it's just every scene has a different ABBA song playing.
It's in the background the whole time.
And they all work, the lyrics or the pace of the song all work really, really well with the scene.
Yes.
It's like well constructed. Because they really build out the space of their study room. And of course they get locked in there, which is great. And of like the classroom, you kind of have like pretty good spatial awareness of where they're like running to. I think that's cool. Camera works good. They have a ton of extras and people in it that all do a great job. It's just like a well put together episode.
They also have like the trope of the cat screech that's in, I guess it's not actually in a lot of horrors, but it's like in every TV sitcom.
The cat jumping in front of the camera.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there's like 3 cat screeches in a row, and Troy goes, is someone throwing it?
That's her favorite.
So like they're mocking it on screen that there's a ton of cat screech, which I love. The blatant mention of Abed saying he wants Troy to be the first black man to get to the end.
Yeah.
Well, because this show is always playing on like movie or film tropes. It does that consistently. And so it's very fitting that they're doing it here and doing it well.
I just had a fantastic realization of them trying to explain this concept to Chevy Chase in the whatever writer's room or
that's why they wrote him off first.
That's what I was going to say. That's why
Chevy Chase. If you don't know, Chevy Chase is Not a very good person.
Yeah, extremely problematic, was very sexist,
Very funny.
racist.
Very funny, but,
That's why they were like, he got bit first. Bye.
Well, they wrote his character, and then they kept hamming up the sexism and racism because they were like, he just is. So here we are. And then I guess it got to a point where they had to fire him. But
gross.
yeah, we got rid of him fast, which worked.
It's so, I had complicated feelings about him because he's a piece of shit. But I enjoy his old movies, so tough. I don't even need to
separate the art from the artist, I guess. But yeah, so it was good that he got canned immediately. He's the first one down.
He had a great costume too. He was Captain Kirk, and he looked just like him. It was weird. Well, at one point they say if you got any more bloated and puffy, your costume become too realistic.
Yeah, that was funny if you're familiar. Yeah, I just feel like this episode, overall, the production value is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I love they stayed true to Troy and Abed's bromance.
Mm-hmm.
They hit him with the Star Wars quote.
Yeah.
The I love you, I know.
I was there for it.
I love them.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to say why this is so good without watching it. But I think it hits all the vibes. The costumes are great. It plays into all your tropes. It is actually a zombie movie. It is a 20-minute zombie movie.
Mm-hmm. The music.
With
the
an
music's
ABBA
great.
soundtrack.
So funny.
The government comes in at the end and is like, we're going to kill all these people. And then, why do they change their mind? They end up... Oh, it's because everyone turned. They were going to kill the dean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were ready to kill the dean. Like, wait, all these people are turned? All right, we got
Which, by far, Dean had the best costume.
Oh,
Lady Gaga, hands down.
The dean is so funny because he's always wearing something kind of wacky, but all his Halloween costumes are, blatant drag. And they're so good.
Yeah, I like that actor a lot.
He's really funny.
He commits.
He really does. Well, I feel like this cast in general really commits, but they give him the most crazy shit to commit to.
Can we get Shirley in more stuff? Helen from Drake and Josh?
Helen.
I miss her.
And she's not that different from Helen in this show either.
Yeah.
I just realized how much I love the character of Helen in Drake and Josh.
It's so good.
She's so funny.
Especially in contrast to Josh. It works so well.
Yes, and Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve!
Oh my god.
Him showing up on iCarly was like, why is he normal? I can't process this. Oh, so good.
Does Drake and Josh have a Halloween episode? Maybe that's one of my favorite sitcoms, if it counts.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
I remember their Alien episode. That's not Halloween, but it's close.
Also horrible human being. Drake Bell.
Yeah.
Jesus. I would have said That 70s Show was my favorite episodes, and I was like, I'm not touching that.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
That's
Danny
very
Madison.
recent at the time of recording.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I love how this just turned into disgusting
everyone
actors.
in Hollywood is shitty, apparently. Maybe.
It is true.
What are you going to do? Anywhere you turn, you can't watch anything.
Well, that's why,
Kill them
again,
all
it
with
was
zombies.
great we picked a community episode where Chevy just...
Yeah, he's out. Chevy Chase is out.
Do you have a favorite scene, Jackie?
The Troy and Abed bromance. I'm just a
So
sucker for them, honestly.
I do love Abed.
They're so good.
Abed's always breaking the fourth wall, too, or explaining why this is another movie that clearly Dan Harmon was trying to make the episode like. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know. It's
well, and they also
good.
played on the costume, debacle there, because Troy and Abed were, nerdy costumes. Mm-hmm. And then Troy was like, I want girls. I'm going to change to a hot costume.
And it was just toilet paper that said Dracula.
Straight up toilet seat cover, naked.
And guess what? He looked hot. He looked hot because...
He was sexy Dracula.
He's ripped.
But then in the end, to save the day and his friend, he put back on his nerdy costume.
I know. They're so sweet.
He gets bit, too.
And it's Abed who bites him.
I know.
That was brutal.
It's so perfect.
That was another trope. Yeah, it's the loved one is the one that you,
he was
can't
we're
punch.
friends.
He was beating the shit out of everybody else. And then Abed, yep. Great.
So
Great
good.
episode. The perfect Halloween episode.
I'd say
of a sitcom.
My favorite moment... Well, there's a lot because this whole episode's really funny. I do like the moment where Abed's like, okay, we'll go through the door. And... Jeff is like, no, I am not gonna do that. why don't we try the door?
Or the window. We'll go through the window.
Yeah, and then Troy's like, he doesn't want to ruin his $6,000 suit. And then he gets attacked for his vanity, so
and then Rick
he deserved
in
it.
the banana costume's wearing the suit,
yeah.
the jacket that he left. Yeah.
And in previous episodes, it's kind of already been established that Jeff and Rick don't like each other, so... What a perfect end.
This was my favorite of the three, I will say.
I think it's the most fun out of the three, for sure.
Well,
and I feel like it's probably the least watched of the three.
Yeah.
Sad. It's on Netflix. Everyone's got Netflix. Or steal it. I don't care. I won't call the cops.
I do think Community, if you haven't watched it, it's very quirky, and it gets quirky fast. But it's well worth the watch, especially the first 3 seasons. After that, it gets kind of poo-poo. Yeah. But the first 3 seasons are 1,000% worth your time, if this is your sense of humor. Well, you'll figure it out pretty fast.
You got anything else?
That was kind of all I had to say.
If we missed your favorite episode, comment it if you're on YouTube. I don't know if you can comment on Spotify. Message us. Do something. Tell us a Halloween episode we missed that we should watch. I'm sure there's plenty.
I would like to do... I feel like this would be a fun, like a reoccurring...
A yearly one?
Or more of them. Who cares? Okay. Who gives a shit? I also think like there are a lot of really fun like Disney ones, like the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode.
Oh, true. Real throwbacks. That's so Raven, the cow one.
Yeah. We talked about the Sweet Life one on a previous episode because it was scary.
Yeah.
The or what was it? Brush, the comb, whatever it was, going through the mirror.
Seance.
The seance. It was scary.
Esteban going for it in that seance. So good.
All right, we good to be done.
Yep.
All right, I'm Matt Hanna.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Jackie.
And this was Horror Hour with the Hannas.
And with Jackie.
And Jackie. Thank you for listening.
Happy Halloween! Thank you for tuning into Horror Hour with the Hannas. Make sure to listen to future episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and follow for additional content on TikTok or Instagram at Horror Hour with the Hannas. If you like the podcast, please leave a positive review on your favorite podcasting app. Happy hauntings!